everyone, and welcome to Hear Me Out Pitch. Or if you're returning, welcome back and thanks. I'm Tim,
And I'm Willem.
and this is episode 100.
100.
Triple digits, people. Triple digits.
Ah. It's weird. It's just weird. I started this thing on a whim after going to a few crappy movies. I met Tim in the middle of me kind of starting the idea. And then on a really big whim, I was like, hey man, do you want to come record this with me? I had an idea for the first episode and anything. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to record this episode. Do you want to come? And he was like, sure. And yeah, here we are.
Into this.
100 episodes. That's crazy. And
Plus some extras.
But for the most part, 100.
This is episode 100.
100 things of just hours that you can listen to or watch now. Oh.
Yeah. And recently we've had a lot more people discover our hobby. And
people have their eyes on us now, and I'm like, oh, yeah. It's not just
we owe a lot of it to Maki. So we appreciate you.
We're gonna say that for a fat minute. So, but and lately I've been having a lot of artists. I know that you guys are like, oh, it's like probably like this many, maybe like a little over 10, but still, for the past 2 years, never have had people reach out and ask like, so how do we? Who wasn't like family and friends?
Yeah. The most I ever saw was on our Facebook posts. Every now and again, I'd leave a post before I started slacking.
Having a kid.
I would leave a post saying, hey, we want your ideas. You have a single sentence or a crappy movie for us to watch or something.
And sometimes we get something. But here we are now. And honestly, any prompt, any crappy movie, any story that you hated and you think that someone could do it better, let us know. We'll try our best. But we're excited. I have a queue now. I have a queue of people who want us to talk about their stuff, talk about their art. And it's just strange. I've never had like a queue. I have to actually like plan stuff. We can actually plan ahead and not be like, so Tim, what are we doing today? So, but today we are actually going to do an original, and it's going to be a fun one because it's from my dream journal. I don't have a dream journal. I'm just kidding. I don't, I promise. Now you're all going to question me. But I had, sometimes this happens and I just have these weird dreams. And a few of these, our original ideas have come from those dreams. I think one of my favorite ones that came from the dream was Liam the Pirate. Cute little short story.
That was a fun one.
And it went in a way different direction. There's still a few that I have written down, not in a journal. Typed up. But this one I had very recently. It was probably a couple weeks ago. And I should say we're sorry for the last couple weeks. It's been hectic with computers, with just
life,
machines.
And we're recording on a Thursday because yesterday, right before we were going to come record, I got in a wreck.
Tim got hit.
I got rear-ended. It was
not Tim's fault.
It was not my fault. I got rear-ended, and it freaked out my son, and kind of sent all three of us into shock just a little bit.
So yeah, I was took a day off,
and we're recording on Thursday.
I gave him a day off, guys. Because what do I pay him for?
It was unpaid.
unpaid. He's you guys are gonna someone if they said draw me as Scrooge and him as Cratchit one day, please. If any artists ever want to be like, I want to draw these two, draw me as Scrooge just yelling at Tim. Make stories. Speaking of stories, though, we want to do an original story, and simply the dream. It just ended with I don't remember much, but all I remember was the idea that came to me from this dream was a prince or someone is kidnapped and kept in a coma, basically, for 25 years. I just remember in this dream, I was in some weird castle and I went as like a diplomat or something. And I remember waking up and it was weird because I was in that weird REM cycle where you're trying to wake up and you can't. And it was still playing in the dream. And it was like, oh, Your Majesty, you've been, and they're laughing at me like, you've been asleep for 25 years. What's your kingdom going to do now? Like, and I just thought to myself, like, what would happen? They kidnap a high prince. They say that he's dead, but they just drugged him for 25 years. Kind of like what Maleficent teases Prince Philip with, like the vision of him returning after, it's been 100 years or however long she said, and he would ride off. And so something like that. And I was just like, that I feel like is right up our alley. That's terrifying. And, maybe we just like elves a lot for some reason. But
I mean, humans as creative people, we like stuff that is similar, stuff that we can relate to that's different from what we are. Right? And that's where the appeal to elves comes from, because in a lot of mythologies, elves are just better people. They just have a more
just snootier.
Well, that, or they have a higher society, a better society, or they're just cooler. They're different. They're more flowy.
Well, I don't know if it was an elf, but honestly, I've had the idea of either maybe it was a human, like he's a human prince, and at 16, kidnapped, wakes up around 30, 31ish, so my age. And it's like, what would happen if you learned that all of your young life, you were set to be married, like your whole kingdom, like just imagine that. You went from 15 to 30. I know there's many movies like that, but now imagine it in the sense of fantastical kingdom with this prince waking up and he is a grown man and his whole, like your whole life is stolen. That's insane. Because 15 to 30, I lived a whole bunch in that decade and a half. It's crazy. 30 to 45, I think you could definitely have a lot. Grow up with family. If you have children, that's a lot right there. But
if we're going 25 years, he'd be 40.
Oh, did I say 25? Sorry. I meant for some reason it turned to 15 in my head. That's still 40. I think that would work just fine as well. I still think that would work.
Yeah, I like it. Here's my thought. I'm gonna take a little inspiration from two places. One is the Stormlight Archive, because we like Brando Sando.
I don't know if you guys can see his sweatshirt.
I'm wearing a Stormlight hoodie, and underneath it, I am. You can't tell, but I'm wearing a Knights Radiant shirt.
Underneath Tim's clothes, he's not wearing any clothes.
No, I just have tattoos of. I don't know. I was trying to think of something funny.
Yeah, Tim's the one that has tattoos. I've got the
Bridge 4 tattoo right right in the center of my chest.
Bridge 4? I can see you putting it on your shoulder.
Bridge 4?
Oh no, he makes it so that when you cross your wrist, that just makes the Bridge 4. Anyway.
No, anyway,
sorry.
We like Brandon Sanderson.
A lot.
And Stormlight Archive has a very... I really like the way that the politics are set up, at least in Alethkar with... I mean... In all of the series, all of the lands, I like it, how it's set up. But in particular, I'm drawing inspiration from Alethkar and what would happen if
kidnapped a high prince?
You kidnapped a high prince and they were pronounced dead to the world. Imagine if Gavilar hadn't been murdered, but he'd been kidnapped and pronounced dead. And then 25 years later, he shows up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally was like, no, they kidnapped the Blackthorn. Because you wouldn't have that kingdom without the...
I mean, that's true.
The dreaded Blackthorn. And imagine if you unleashed that at 40, thinking that he was done.
Yeah. So that's the first part of my inspiration. The second part of my inspiration actually is myself. From... Gosh, how old am I?
23. No, 24.
24.
Sorry.
I'll be 25 in a couple weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Ew.
Oh yeah, you're whatever. Fine.
So 10 years ago, the last decade, 10 between 8.
You were 14 10 years ago?
I
was 20.
Yeah. Anyway, when I was younger, most of my teenage years, for those of you who don't know, I have always loved Legos. I like to build. I like to create things. But I'm also, if you couldn't tell, I'm a storyteller. I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed from our podcast, from our 100 episodes.
I just hired him because he looked pretty. That's it.
But
when he stopped saying I hired you, they're going to start believing that.
No, I hired him. I'm just kidding.
Make me a.
Anyway, growing up, I had this pile of Legos, this small bin of Legos. Say bin, it was a treasure chest. A Star Wars treasure chest.
That's awesome.
Full of Legos. I have it somewhere.
So organized.
You guys didn't need to know any of that.
He did not.
What you did need to know is that I played with my Legos like a child up until I left on my mission when I was 18.
You know, Tim, that doesn't surprise me.
If
Don't ask me that question either.
I would still play with Legos if I had someone.
Well, you just wait. You just wait 5 years. You'll be fine.
Yeah, couple years. I'll teach my kids how to play with Legos, and it'll be great. Anyway, I would create these stories with my minifigs. Again, information you don't need, but I'm obsessed with The Legend of Zelda. I always have been. It's my favorite video game franchise. And I created, this was before we had official Legend of Zelda Lego sets and minifigures.
Are you excited for this year, Tim?
I'm very excited.
Okay.
My birthday present is the Legend of Zelda.
Who told you? That was supposed to be a secret.
I told me.
No.
I told
you
Sabrina that's my gift.
You were not supposed to tell yourself that.
I told Sabrina that's my gift. Anyway, I took a bunch of pieces and I created a Link Lego minifig, and he was my main character for all of these stories. And I took Galadriel from one of the Lord of the Rings sets that I had, and I used her as my Princess Zelda. It fit. It worked.
It works.
Anyway, I used them to tell all these stories, and a lot of the times I'd have sieges, and I'd have them fight monsters, and a lot of what I did is translated into somewhat of what I do with D&D with some of our campaign stories. Like a few of the things that you guys have done, I played with my Legos first in that
I feel
story.
so sorry for those poor figures, what they had to live with. That's terrible.
Anyway, so I had that, and I had this one particular arc. It was actually around the time that I started reading The Way of Kings and the Stormlight Archive. And I got really, really into. I've always been into medieval stuff and the high fantasy, but I got really into it at that point, and I created this story arc for my Legos where they went on this extended siege of this evil city, and Link, my main character, was killed, and went missing, and so yeah, the actual minifig did go missing.
Oh gosh.
For probably
the plot thickens.
Probably 8 or 9 months. And then I found it in my brother's stash, even though he told me that he didn't have it. So I got mad at him for that.
And this is why I'm glad I am an only son. I have sisters, but no brothers. Stay away from my Legos.
But anyway, so during that time I had all of my other characters, and they were fighting and doing all these adventures, and then when I found my Link minifig, he came back, And I did like this whole honestly, guys, you might judge me hard for this. I don't care. I was telling cool stories in my head. I had like
big reunion
a
scene.
month and a half where I put all of my other minifigs aside and I only used Link, and I had him trekking across the world fighting all these things, and he had to collect certain items and gear to get back home. And yeah, it was like a month and a half.
You know, I have to say, there is no way that I don't think that, you know, these great storytellers of, you know, whether it be anime, books, I just can't imagine that when they were kids or growing up that they didn't have experiences like this where you are full on in your mind, you are telling a story. I remember I had plots, I had things when you had to put your toys away, and I'm talking like I'm little. I remember I had to like remember where my toys were so that when it was like cleanup time, when it was time to take everything back, I had to put it in the spot because like, oh no, that guy was like almost about to fall off the building. This guy was like just stabbed through, and you're like, oh my gosh. And you guys are just like judging us. But
see, I'm not the only one.
I feel like a lot of us, especially a lot of you artists out there, I have a feeling you all can relate to this because it's called imagination.
Yeah, it's storytelling. Honestly, it's storytelling at its finest.
And they've killed it to some degree.
And
it's ironic we talk about Legos because you know how I feel about Legos nowadays.
They're expensive.
Expensive, and imagination's dead.
Yes.
Anyway,
point being, that's the inspiration I'm drawing from. Took me 10 minutes to explain that.
I can fast forward if you want, just like.
Anyway, when you said or when you gave me your idea, I was like, okay.
It reminded you of when Link disappeared.
It did, and every time I reread The Way of Kings and those stories, I'm like, there's a few things where I'm like, oh, I remember doing something similar with my Legos.
Cute.
And that was before I read the books. Anyway, there's this trope in storytelling where main character is killed off screen, and all of his companions and everyone
screen or on screen,
either or.
Okay.
The main character is killed, but not really.
Gandalf.
They're Gandalf or
Gandalf.
Kung Fu Panda 2 when Poe.
Oh, I was about you. Oh, that was like one of the first ones I thought of. Like I was like, what's it? And I was like, Kung Fu Panda 2. He gets. I not screamed, but I gasped in the theater. Like the cannon shoots Poe off, and he flies off. I was like, oh, they think he's dead. Oh.
Yeah,
it was so sad.
It's a trope that you'll see every now and again, and it's done differently. It's done differently in every story, but it's that same trope where the main character is pronounced dead, and they have to trek back.
Dead.
They're assumed dead, and so
usually it's when they have to really find themselves. They've hit rock bottom. It's the point of the story where it's like, oh,
My thought for this story is, because it's been 25 years, maybe our main character had gone to the elves to broker a treaty so that they could work together to resist this third mystery kingdom. Together, push back a warlord from destroying our main character's kingdom.
For human.
Kind of thinking a combo of both.
Half elf, then?
I think they just live together. So there's elves, humans, and half elves.
What is he?
I think,
or she.
Well, so I think
I'm sorry, guys. I'm imagining a male for this character just because it is based off the dream.
I am too,
and I makes it easier in my head.
I think all three kingdoms can just be a mixture. Um, the one is ruled by men, the one is ruled by the elves, and then the one is ruled by this warlord who's, I'm thinking, half elf. Gets some traits from both. Bloodlust from the human side, the crazy long life and agility and strength from the elves. Something like that. Anyway, I think that could be our basis. And it's a little cliche, like we've there's all stories like this, but it's the way that you tell a story that makes it different.
It's so true. Like, we've been telling stories since the beginning of the dawn of time. You know, we have so many different things, and Odyssey, so old.
Yeah. If you like the inheritance cycle, Aragon, Eldest, Brissinger, and Inheritance, those books, Dragon Riders, I'm about to ruin it for you. It's just a knockoff of Star Wars. Sorry. Go check that out. You'll understand. If you know, you know.
Well, you can argue that most of it is just the epic journey of the main character, and just because Harry Potter,
there's a magic sword. There's an old man that trains the prodigy. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Ancient familial ties. Anyway.
So, all right.
The point that I'm trying to make is Aragon is great. Star Wars is great. They're both great stories.
Not the movie, though.
What movie?
Oh, okay.
But they're told differently. They're put in different settings, right? And so they are different stories, and they're good for different reasons. So with our story, again, it's going to be a little cliche. A lot of our stories are, but it's the way that we tell them that I like about our stories.
A thing I was thinking about. My brain was going a different cliche route. And this happens sometimes in our episodes. Me and Tim kind of have different ideas. That's why we talk about it. I was thinking Human Prince 16. Like, again, very much Prince Philip.
Yeah.
Very much Prince Philip. Honestly, that probably could be his name now. But he is set to marry an elf queen or an elf princess, something. I just imagine they did something to him. Like, because in my dream, it was originally like an accident. They're like, oh, we just thought you really like sleeping. Like, just something like that. Like, you know what? We live really, because for everyone that's been watching Frieren, and I hope I said that right, you know, this just elf, and she's like 1,000 years old, and time to her is just nothing. So, you know, what's a human who falls asleep and then they like, oh man, what's wrong with him? Wake up. All right. Just if he's going to sleep for a couple of years, we have elves do this all the time. They just go into comas and they rest for 50 years and they're like, oh, that was great. So just what happened if a prince accidentally went to the wrong chamber? He like went in, there's a bunch of people around hookahs and they're like, hey, your majesty, you want one? And he just gets too high and he falls asleep in their hookah bar for 50 years, man. Like, that'd be nuts.
That would be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
Honestly, I like your route better.
Like,
that's so funny.
Like, that was the joke of the dream. But like, what if he was
What would happen?
What are the repercussions for his kingdom? The prodigal prince is just disappeared. I think, as much as the silly one sounds, like that's kind of like, I imagine would be like a funny comedy. Would be just like, yo, how long has it been? And he's like, so dude, funny. You're 40. It's been 25 years. I'm late for my wedding, man. Like, dude. And he goes back. That'd be nuts. That would be funny. But no, I was just thinking more of goes in, makes a treaty, and to make like just a treaty of some sort. But he wakes up 40, a grown man, and he's what do you do? What do you do if you learn that your kingdom's been swept over? There's no one left, there's no one to your name, and you need to go out. Like one scene in my head is literally they kick him out. He has his full beard. and he's a scared boy. Think of how Robin Williams was in the first Jumanji movie. Just kind of like a kid in an adult body. And I know that he lived his whole life with it, but he was still very childish in a way. They kick him out of the castle and they're laughing at him, and the suit doesn't fit, nothing fits. Everything is old and dusty, and they go, return to your kingdom. Oh, wait, it's not there anymore. And when he goes back, it's just this, I don't know what it would be. Would it be barren? Would it be burned? Would it be razed to the ground? Would it be taken over? No one knows who he is. So what would this prince do? So that was kind of my thought.
I like the idea that it's not been destroyed; it's been assimilated into the other kingdom. And 25 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
That's as long as I've been alive.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would have been 6. That's like if they kidnapped me when I was 5 or 6, and I wake up now. That'd be terrible. I'd be kindergarten. That's terrible. So what if we said 15?
15 could work.
15, not like it's still like fresh what they've done, and they probably had a lot of fighting. But now, so like the first 8 years were them fighting. Like the first 2 mourning, next couple 5 is fighting and finishing losing and then slowly assimilating. So there's still people old enough to remember him.
Yeah, we can do that.
And yes, I do want an Argos scene. For anyone who doesn't know who Argos is Odysseus's dog. And if we're gonna do a time jump like that, the first person that's gonna recognize him is his dog. So,
be one old dog.
Imagine if it was a puppy. So, Argos lived to be 20. It's 15. That is pushing it, but it's still better than Argos' state.
My dog died when she was 11, so.
Dogs. But yeah, that's kind of my thought, is just the journey of this. It would just be the story of this human, or this just prince retaking his kingdom. Like, honestly, I feel like this, and I know we've already talked about a video game, but this to me would be the perfect video game of setting up, learning, and building until you finally take over your kingdom again. You become a rogue, you take over stuff. Like,
I kind of like the idea that it's a video game. We've done a couple video games in the past, right? With,
I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that's kind of how in my head.
It honestly, it fits to me. And if we're talking video game, I do like the idea that maybe he has, and he can just be the hero or the protagonist. Like, you give him a name
for the probably.
It's like the old Zelda games,
when
right? When you can name
yourself.
your character.
I would just call him the Prince. Big call out to Prince of Persia franchise, which Ubisoft, you stink, and I wish you would get your stuff together, because that all got canceled. I'm fine.
The Prince could work. I like that. Side note, I played through the Wind Waker one time, and I named Link my dude.
Yes, I've done that too, Tim.
I named him my dude. Good morning, my dude. It was really funny.
No, I didn't do my dude. I just did dude.
I did my dude.
My dude's funny. That's even better.
That was actually my most recent.
I just did dude. I've done dude before, and they're like, "Dude, are you asleep? Dude, what are you doing?" Or like Ganondorf, dude.
My dude, wake up.
Dude, listen. Dude, I love you.
Yeah. Anyway,
dude, you are the hero of ages. Wait,
the wrong franchise.
Sorry. I am just imagining. I'm imagining Link. Never ever. Sorry, this is a very big tangent for all spoilers for Just
Link in Mistborn.
No, but Link would be like, imagine Link never talks the whole story, and then the first words out of his mouth after discovering, he goes, "Sadly, I am the hero of ages," and that's the only words he says, and then anyway.
Imagine if Sazed had never talked.
He's deaf until he heals himself. They didn't make him a
Mute,
eunuch.
mute,
They also.
like the God King in Warbreaker.
Oh my gosh! I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm
Anyway,
fine.
sorry.
Sorry, that's what we do.
We like.
I will probably
Brando's
I
idea.
delete some of the stuff sometimes. So if
Sometimes.
it cuts sometimes, just know that we were rambling.
And if this was cut, sorry, you missed out. Crap, I lost my train.
No,
of
I
thought.
think it being very much video
game.
game-esque for anyone who's done. Like,
Mhm.
I could easily see it be, because how many of our video games nowadays do just a lonely character alone, stranded? Jedi Survivor, Ghost of Tsushima,
I was
God of War.
literally so this last week I finished Jedi Survivor again.
Again, everybody.
Again, that's like my 7th time running through. I love those games. I'm so excited for the 3rd.
This year.
Supposedly. Hoping.
I'm calling
Anyway,
it November.
I just finished again, and I was, while I was playing this time, I took some special interest in each of the abilities and just kind of how they function and how they set the game apart as a unique entity, right? Because we've had games like the Jedi games, right, where you're running around and you're going through the story in the third person and you're swinging a sword or shooting people with a bow, right? Like Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Tsushima and stuff like that.
I love those games.
What made Jedi Survivor unique is the ability to use the Force and the abilities that you gain through those games, right? Jedi Fallen Order, for example. You go throughout the game and you learn how to run on walls for a short distance. Then you learn force push and force pull, and then you learn your double jump. You gain the respirator so you can dive underwater, which I think the Jedi games did a really good job with underwater.
It's Metroidvania-esque.
Yeah.
Is that the term? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
That's the category from Metroid. Metroidvania.
Yeah. Metroidvania, because it's Metroid and Castlevania.
Okay.
But anyway, there's those abilities, and you get the BD1 abilities, right? Where you can splice and the zip line, right? And those are all core abilities that you gain throughout the game, and they set the game apart as its own thing. And they are very Star Wars abilities. In the second game, you've got your lightsaber throw right from the start, my favorite thing. You get your dash ability, you get your different lightsaber stances. You get the ability to dash. What after the dash, you get the ability to dash through the phase walls. The ion walls, I think they're called. That might be wrong. It's probably wrong. But that refunds your dash, so you can do it again, right? That resets your jump, which I think is really cool and opens up a lot more for exploration. And so, long story short, what I want to ask is, what would we do with this game to make it stand apart from other games similar in a similar style?
I think it would be very much learning. And that's why I don't know if I want to make it so. I want it to be video game inspired. I think it could translate to one, but I do imagine he is going to learn very gruesome and grisly. Honestly, the only thing I've been thinking of with this, and I definitely think he's just going to be learning how to make items. I don't really want him to be magic. I want him to be rough and rugged. And this might be very dark, but the fighting style that I'm imagining is this game concept that never, I don't know if anyone will be able to play it, but it was zombies with knights, and you see them, because how do you kill a zombie? You tear it to pieces, and these armor is, you can't, and it was really cool, the concept and how they were killing things. I was like, yeah, I'd play that all day. And I just imagine he makes things more suitable for himself. I imagine he makes a gauntlet that is just that deflects things. I imagine that he is very much up and personal. He is not a forgiving man.
Mhm.
But
I do like the idea that maybe he's got some of the he absorbed some elvish magic while he was in that coma. Not a lot, but like
I think the only thing I would do
to
is like the
empower
heightened
himself.
senses, maybe, or maybe he
Yeah.
is taking things. Maybe he's doing a play. Maybe like a first boss would be some. Oh no! Oh no! You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh, Tim,
Already laughing.
because I just imagine the magic style.
Mm-hmm.
If I hope you're not. I hope you don't already know what I'm gonna say because it's something that I hate. I just imagine necromancy.
I wasn't thinking necromancy.
I think
that could work.
sorry, I think it's very much like he because what better army to raise
The dead.
than the dead, and he needs to really get it.
Maybe it's because your traditional
Or at least
necromancy, right, is just raising the dead as they are, as
Can-
they're you know, they're deposed, decomposed corpses, right? What if this is less necromancy and more revival? So it's, they're still dead, but they are maybe conscious.
what is a type of system, a magic system that like I'm imagining one of the first people he fights is and again this could be and I kind of want to make it more story wise at this point. Like what would be something that would help even the playing field of a human taking over a morbid, let's say I'm kind of mixing. I kind of had a thought, Tim, of that this elvish kingdom took him, and it's not really the elvish kingdom's fault. They have it. The big reveal is going to be that they've been turned, like it's been demonic possession. This like the elves were turned, not all of them, but they were run over as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to take care of the humans because for some reason the humans were a bigger threat to demons than the elves. Don't know why, but that's kind of what I've been thinking. I don't know if it's because they're descendant of some god, a herald, or something, but
Maybe less demons. Maybe it could be something to do. We talked about Lolth our last episode a little bit. Maybe it could be something kind of like that, where it's an elvish deity, an evil elvish deity, and they have control over the elves. And
is there another elvish deity? So we're not playing with another spider demon queen?
There's a few. Corellin is one, but he's good. He's the one that I kind of based Celebrian off of.
Oh.
A little bit. There's I forget what her name is, but she's kind of Saloon. She's one of the she's a goddess of like the moon, and yeah. There are a few other elvish deities. So we could definitely do something like that where maybe
perpetual night versus
I kind of like that idea where it's a perpetual night,
and he's bringing back the sun,
the elvish goddess of the moon. Yeah, because in D&D, in the early versions of 5th edition, back 10 years ago in 2014, 12 years ago, gosh. In 2014, the original Player's Handbook had 3 sub races for playable elves. Technically 4. There were technically 4. The Drow weren't as laid out as the other three. But it was the other two, but it's the drow, the wood elves, and the high elves, right? The drow are the dark elves, right? If you've seen Thor 2, that's basically the dark elves. That, or if you played World of Warcraft, or if you play D&D, um for those of you who know who Driz Do'Urden is,
Oh my gosh, you're such a nerd.
I am a nerd. You know who he is?
No.
Oh, he's a dark elf champion
Oh,
in D&D.
This episode, for anyone who's new, is just definitely going to show you
How much of a nerd we are?
how much of a nerd Tim is, and also shows you that he's been through a lot. Because tonight's been a. Usually, I'm the rambler.
Yeah. Anyway, so
that was not meant to, like. I hope everyone's like, wow, that was like a mean call out. I just realized I'm like, we
are super mean to each other all the time off camera too. It's fine.
He punches me all the time.
Smash Bros doesn't count.
We have actually never played Smash Brothers.
We have once.
And you lost, right?
I don't actually remember.
Anyway.
Anyway,
I think,
as I was saying,
just darkness.
Dark elves, the wood elves, and then the high elves in D&D are split into two categories: the moon and the sun. And I think that could fit really well. We just kind of merge the moon elves in with the drow. Maybe the moon elves became the drow, the dark elves.
These just nocturnal elves.
Empowered by the darkness.
So why would it be a human? I want to stick with a human. So what would fit? Why would it be? Is it just a random kingdom near these elves? Like what? Like the thing is, this doesn't have to be part of D&D. This doesn't have to be part of all that. It could be our own thing. I just have to understand why this nocturnal, moon worshipping, perpetual, permanent darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they live near humans, and why would they kidnap a prince of that kingdom? What do they have? What do these humans have? Do they have the sun? What are we going to do? Fight the sun?
Do something similar to how World of Zadia, the Dragon Prince world is.
Never watched it. I need to watch it.
It is super good.
Same people as Avatar, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. It is one of my favorite shows. It is very good.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Zadia is a world where dragons, elves, and humans exist. They kind of all coexist. Elves and dragons live on half of the world, on one half of the world, and then humans live on the other half of the world, and it's split by this great divide. Not to be confused by the Great Divide in Avatar.
What episode's ahead?
It's in season 2, I think.
It's in season 1, Tim. It's like the
Is it in season 1?
Yeah, it's
oh
like the 6th episode. It's the
You're
least
right.
watched episode.
You're right.
I skip it every time. No one cares.
I don't skip any Avatar episodes. They're all good. Anyway, calling him out. He's a fake fan.
I am not.
No. Anyway, we could do something similar where there's just this divide between humans and elves, and it can be a natural, like maybe mountains, and maybe there's this cradle. The cradle of civilization is where the elves live.
Ooh, they're in the middle of a ring of mountains.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. There's this nice big ring of mountains, and it opens up at the bottom end, or on one of the ends. It's a circle. There's no ends. It opens up somewhere in the range, and maybe the elves created like a fortress city there at that entrance to keep the humans out, but also to keep the elves in so they don't fight. And so the human kingdom, maybe they're under attack, and they're like, okay, the only people that we can actually ask for help from is the elves. So they send a diplomat, or maybe not even that. Maybe they just sent our main character as the prince to meet with the queen of the elves to broker a treaty so that they could stop fighting. Maybe they've been fighting over something for a long time, end a war.
They
I've got it.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Queen of the Elves comes to meet him at the main city, or at this, not in the main city, at the fortress city.
So queen as in head matriarch, like she's the head of everything.
Queen of the Elves.
Okay.
She meets with our.
So this
with
is a grown
the prince.
character. I
Yes.
imagine like a elf his age for a split second. No, this is
an adult.
Okay,
like
just one.
ancient.
Okay.
Thousands of years
Wanted to double check just because I was like, princess? No, not princess.
No,
queen.
queen.
Okay.
She meets with him and they start to broker this treaty, and they're like, we need the war to end. And maybe we'll find out as we go through the story, as we play the game. I'm still on that it's a video game. I like the idea.
Ironically, I'm off of it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm either way.
Either way, the story.
Either way.
He meets with her, and as we go through the story, we'll find out that the war was created to create the divide between the elves and the humans, and drive the elves further into the darkness of the moon, away from the sun. And so the farther into the cradle you go, the darker it gets, the more permanent, perpetual night it is.
Are they underground?
No.
Okay.
No. I've been imagining in my head
a dome?
Massive tree. Like a
a
mile high, branches extending out for miles, just creating this dome. Magically enchanted to create an artificial nighttime or something.
You don't look up when you look up. You don't see trees. I mean, you don't see leaves. You see sky.
Stars.
Awesome.
You see yeah. Oh gosh, I could see it now. You look up and you can see the stars twinkling, and that's just because it's actually the daytime.
It's the little bit of light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at nighttime, it doesn't matter because it's the same. You see the stars, the actual stars peeking through.
Okay, that makes okay. Okay. So what started the war? Why are the humans fighting? Are they worshippers of the sun?
I think yeah. The humans are worshippers of the sun. The elves have, because of racism. The elves were like, we don't like the humans, so we don't want anything to do with the sun, so we're gonna worship the moon. And some of the elves weren't for it. They were, and there was kind of this civil war among the elves. And
I mean, do you want to go the route that the humans just slowly came, or they're just people that just evolved? Do you want it to be that these are two separate? No, I still like it being human because that 15 years.
15 years is a long time for a
shock.
Yeah.
And so I think I would want that a fight broke out between them. Something happened.
Point being, because I have this idea, and if I don't get it out, I'm gonna lose it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Point being, Prince meets with the queen to broker a treaty so that they can stop fighting, because the queen wants the queen misses the sun, and she wants to have she wants to share the sun with the humans, and its power. And I think maybe there's different magics depending on whether sun or moon. And maybe that's where our alternate abilities with our character can come in. I actually have some cool concepts for that.
Ooh, Tim, maybe
hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Queen meets with the prince in the fortress city that is partially in the sun, partially in the shadow. And when she's about to sign the treaty and get it all set, then she's assassinated. But as she's dying, she sends our main character, the prince, into that coma to protect him and protect the treaty, and then he goes into that coma. And then the next 15 years is the elves completely take over the cradle. The cradle has become perpetual night, like the queen didn't quite want. Maybe before it had sections of leaves that would open, and there was actually like sunlight in some areas, maybe a couple towns and cities. Um, but over that 15 years, that's gone. It's no longer a haven for light. It is perpetual darkness, perpetual nighttime. The elves have kind of warped a little bit in the darkness, because sunlight has certain properties, certain magic that affects the elves, and not being in the sun has changed them to be pale. They've lost their golden hair, and it kind of turns silver, as they turn kind of pale and bluish under the light of the moon. Which I think maybe there's not like an artificial moon, but like maybe a cocoon that houses this god of the elves that just hangs, and
It's just a giant fruit.
It's yeah, and it is basically the moon in the tree, like under the tree, under the canopy. And the elves have wiped out most of the humans in the city nearby, and I'm back on the video game. I can see, right, because a lot of video games you travel between areas, complete an area, then you move on, right? So I could see the first area is you wake up in this fortress city, and it's kind of like the Forbidden Fortress in Wind Waker, or the Forsaken Fortress in the Wind Waker, right? You go there twice in the game. The first time you go, you have to sneak through, and you got to find your sword. You're not powered up or anything. Honestly, the Forsaken Fortress kind of sucks.
It does. It really does.
In a fun way, but it still sucks, right? It's difficult. I think it could be the same way with this. We're trying to sneak out of this fortress, trying to go home. We've aged. We're a little bit stronger. Maybe we're empowered. And I think that coma, maybe the queen passed on some of her power and her connection to the elvish magic to you as the character, as the player. And so you'll gain abilities as the game goes, based on what region you're in. And so
I think it works really well.
Yeah. Well, and I have this idea for the regions, right? For the regional magic, right? Maybe there's puzzles in the dark zone under the canopy in the cradle that you have to figure out a way to access light in order to progress. And so you've got these puzzles, and you got to climb the tree a little ways, and you've got to use your darkness magics to pull the canopy open a little bit. And then you have a set amount of time. You're timed before the elves come in and they wipe out the light. You got to get down there and use the light magic to progress.
You full on can call down sunlight.
Yeah, I think that'd be so sweet.
So, you know what's so ironic, Tim, is my brain basically, while I was talking, I was like, how can I fill in some of these like kind of awkward things? What can make it more fluid? And funny enough, Tim, it came back to your idea of Three Kingdoms originally. Hear me out why.
Okay.
We have elves that worship the sun, elves that worship the moon. And this, we'll just say in this world, it has been millennia upon millennia. And slowly, after, just as things change, there's kind of a de-evolution. things have changed. Like things are growing, and humans have slowly become a thing. And I'm talking like just elves were first, humans came. There were light elves, dark elves. Light elves, after becoming with humans, becoming friends more with said humans. The light elves and the people of the light, slowly aged out, and there aren't that many more light elves. But dark elves really didn't want to do anything with it. So now we slowly have maybe a few elves in this kingdom. Like I'm talking like less than 10% of this kingdom. And there's a lot of humans while we have a smaller population, but it is 100% elves.
Mm-hmm.
But something's been changing with the dark elves. There have been, over the years, they have slowly started because of speciesism, racism. That is what causes the contention and the fighting. And I don't think that I would want it to be, and I would want the king of the Kingdom of Light to still be he would literally be Celebrian, just as a pure elf. Like honestly, that's who, and I don't even know how you imagined him, but how I imagined him when we played, that's who I imagine is the king. And he's just golden haired, beautiful, with a golden beard. And
Celebrian doesn't have a beard.
I know, but this one does. He always has a beard in my head, like very like tapered, short, square beard. That's how I always imagined him. Anyway, where was I? Oh, but one of his descendants, Prince, is just he appears human, but he's special. He's
got some elvish.
But for the most part, he's human. He's the youngest.
Maybe that's why the queen's magic clings to him, because he's still got that elvish blood.
I don't know, and I do think that the queen. I think that the queen being kidnapped will be a good idea. I think that works very well. I think that her being assassinated is tragic. That he sends him as a test, like, all right, we're gonna send you. We're going to send you. You don't be nervous. You'll be okay. We're going to go. We're going to send you. You are our hope. You are, a mix of human, a little bit of elf, and maybe even his mom is a dark elf. Maybe she left that kingdom and she came. So she doesn't have any powers in the sun, but he will have powers in the dark. So he's the perfect liaison. He's a bit of everything. Human, light elf, dark elf.
I like it.
He will be the perfect little liaison. He goes in, all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, goes in with a swarm of 50 men, and they're going to go into the darkness. And as soon as they get under the great canopy tree, they lose their power. They get a little bit weaker. Doesn't mean they're not weak, but I think that liaison of him, of that mixture of him being like the perfect little combination just works. But the queen's power will definitely help make him more. I kind of want him to look like Hel, the goddess of, and like the proper version.
Yeah.
Where he's half pale, half golden. Maybe at the end of the game or end of the story. But if I were to start this story, like it would be a rough start. It would just be them throwing him out. Just him throwing him out. And when he looks up, the canopy has just grown over everything. There is no sun. And he's just completely pale. Literally, because there's no sun. Now that would be a fun start to the story. Like, because he's like, I can't wait to get out of here. Oh, no. He gets pushed out and he's trudging along and he's weak and he's miserable and he's old. And he's been in this coma, and he goes out and he goes to the line. He sees the remains of his soldiers from 15 years ago after the ambush. And he gets to the line, and he's like, oh, I'm almost there. And as he gets to the line, he's looking at the floor, and he keeps walking, and there's no clear line. There's no clear line of sunshine and canopy, Tim. He's like walking because he's exhausted, and there's no line. No line to show their sun. And he looks up and starts bawling because everything is just covered in darkness. And then I think how I would do that is I would have flashbacks, and for the video game's sake, that would be how you learn a little bit of your powers, a little bit of blocking, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's how I would start that story. Terrible.
Yeah, I like it.
You're terrible, Tim. This is terrible.
That's great. I would play this game.
I would watch this movie. I think it would honestly, as a game, because I love Ghost of Tsushima, and I
Mhm.
love Jedi Survivor. I think Tsushima, for I am more of a fan of Tsushima, just because you can just go any way you want, but you do get powers. I do imagine that he would get, if you go around a certain route, he'd get better armor. If you
Mhm.
stay, I would think that you could go, I think two paths would be very interesting. Are you going to try to lean more towards, I'm going to stay with the darker shadow, or I'm going to stay with the light? Am I going to bring light and bring the kingdom back, or am I going to?
You're going the Knights of the Old Republic route.
I've never played that.
Oh, sad day. In Knights of the Old Republic, if you know, you know.
You can choose a path.
You can choose to either lean more heavily to the Jedi side or the Sith side.
I definitely think it's just how, how much you use the powers, how much you do that. Because I do imagine when you go to a certain, because what I'm imagining, and if we're doing it video game, I'm imagining it's that point where you beat a boss, you get to a certain area, and there's like a tower that helps, or there's a spire that combines with the canopy, and with whatever source we're giving throughout the game, you can tear down the spire, and it just disintegrates, and the sun just shines through the hole, and it slowly starts killing away the moon canopy.
I
So
like it.
and you just slowly so are you going to bring back the light, or are you going to embrace the darkness? What are you going to do? Or are you going to try to do a little bit of both? I imagine that we have a pure ending, pure light ending, where we kill off all the dark elves. I imagine a terrible ending where we kill the dark elves, but we don't save the light, and it doesn't really end well. Or we try to find a happy medium. What are you as a character going to do? Canonically, if this were to be a movie, I would prefer the middle route to be the main story of him finding peace, getting his kingdom restored, and bringing those who did him wrong to punishment. So, yeah,
Yeah,
dang.
I like it.
Well, is there any scene in particular? Like, is there a scene that you would want, whether video game wise, just story wise? What is a scene that you're like, I want him to do this, or I want there to be this certain character?
I I want him to go back to that fortress city later in the game after he's gained some abilities, learned how to use some of his powers, gained some better gear, and he can just walk through everything that's thrown at him. Kind of like we do in the Wind Waker with the Forsaken Fortress, right? Like again, the first time you go through, you're sneaking through, and if you get caught, you get thrown in jail, and then you get caught and you get thrown in jail, and you got to sneak around. And then the second time, you are running through, you are killing everything. You get a super cool hammer. You get to smash a bird's face in. It's great. It's a ton of fun. You feel powerful because you've gone back to
Those
a
are
place.
the best moments of video games.
Yeah, you've gone back to where you started, and you are beating the crap out of the thing that almost killed you right there at the beginning of the game.
But now it's nothing.
Now it's nothing, right?
Ooh, and if you want, and I imagine you can hold a trigger down, and the light will just open, and you'll see the light start following you, and I can see the prompt now, hold blah blah blah, and you just see this wave of light because the canopy is kind of falling apart, and it's just tearing everything.
You know what you could do, because you know how a lot of video games will have a charge up meter for abilities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What if for this one you have two charge up meters, and the one is light and the other is dark? And if you charge up the light, then it's empowered in the light. But if you empower your light, charge up the light, and then you can use your light abilities in the dark and create these glowing after images and summon light. And then same with the dark, you can charge up your dark meter, bring it to the light. It's more powerful in the darkness, but when you bring it to the light, then you are creating, maybe you create these little temporary canopy trees that cover a small area.
So okay, well I guess here's a question for you. Would the Light Kingdom still be around, or is it now heavily fortified? Is it just elves? Like, or is it humans, and the humans are like kind of doing a wicked take of the light? They're like, I imagine now they're experimenting on stuff. I imagine that the kingdom, the castle where it was, is
Ooh,
still okay.
that
And
could be kind of
when he returns, he's
cool.
rejected. It's like his family, it's his cousins.
Yeah.
And that means we have to go to, like, it could be like his brother, his cousin, and the cousin's not
we could
as.
have some vizier or something who's experimenting on the elves, trying to draw out their power so the humans can use it.
I would want to make a point that just because they
It
are
could be-
light, it doesn't mean that they are
Yeah.
good.
You're gonna roll your eyes.
Destiny.
In Destiny.
Oh gosh, I'm done. Just kidding.
There's
Good night,
one
everybody.
of the campaigns, one of the main campaigns, you learn to use the darkness. Right? In the first several years of the game, you are only using the light. And then in the campaign, the Beyond Light campaign, you learn how to use the darkness. And then and then in the next campaign, you find out that your enemies have the light. And it's like this whole thing where, okay, maybe the light and dark aren't exclusively good and evil. It's their tools used by whoever.
Exactly.
And it could be, we could have something similar, and maybe I can see this whole.
Ooh, it was a coup from
Yeah.
both sides.
I can see a small story bit, maybe a chapter or
Ooh,
something.
elf purists.
That's cool.
I think it's elf purists,
Yeah.
and humans are being. So this is going to turn into kind of like we're going to purge, the weaker of our
Mhm.
species, because humans are just a small subclass.
Alternatively, in the light, we have a vizier who is kidnapping elves. So every now and again, an elf just vanishes.
Oh, and there's so few of them.
And there's not a lot of them, and they go missing. And so the other elves are kind of band together and start trying to protect each other. And then when they go off on their own, they're kidnapped.
Oh,
and
Tim.
it's this vizier trying to harness the powers of the light because he's human. He is purely human. He has no way to use the light himself.
Tim.
But he comes up with this way, and that's a boss fight. And the boss fight is where he basically cannibalizes a bunch of these elves. Kind of like Sunlit Man. If you haven't read it, go read it. Sunlit Man,
Fabulous.
great book. But he takes he kind of condenses their power somehow with with maybe focusing a beam of light and some magic plant or something, or crystals, and it pulls the light out of the elves, kills the elf, drains their light into this crystal that then this vizier can use.
So not only is he, kidnapping, their elves, the light elves, they're very few, they're high, like some of them are old. I imagine that they've been also kidnapping some of the dark elves, and we're going to find some of the dark elves and you're going to free them. And he goes, and the vizier's going to be really kind of crude with the dark elves. He's like, their kind thought we were lesser, and he's going to talk about the elves in general. He's going to show his true colors about the elves. Like, they started all this. We came from them. We are the better ones. We don't live longer, but we enjoy our lives. We're shorter. But the point that he is going to make is, I had to start this experiment when I found out that they could be susceptible to this power. And, our character is going to drop for a split second. What do you mean? Like, how did you figure out the first time? My first subject. Who was your first subject? And he'll bust through, and sure enough, we'll get proof somehow that his mother was the first experiment. and then you'll get the cool. You'll get a little choice bar, and it's gonna be one of those choices
Embrace the darkness.
that it'll
or-
be like what do you and like the screen will get darker and darker, and I think it will be yeah, you're gonna do something gruesome to
Yeah.
this character if you figure that out.
Yeah. I like that. And maybe it's
We're gonna have an Anakin Skywalker moment.
that could be almost like a secret boss, like an optional thing where once you beat him, you now gain access to this ability to harness the power of those that you defeat. And maybe it's less of a, oh, I killed you, now I take your power and I can use your crystal to do this super awesome Kamehameha thing. No, it'd be more like I kill you and it fully charges one of the bars. Either the light or the dark.
You know,
depending on
I
what-
feel like, and I feel like the Vizier has to be, and I know that we said he was human, but I
think making him an elf.
think making
would
him a
be
light
cool.
elf.
And I think when you kill him, it's by putting him into his own machine. Like it's turned on. He's trying to kill
Well, you
with
either
it.
you either do it with the light or you do it with, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that with the mom. That'd be terrible. No,
I don't know.
he was running out of people and he kidnapped his mom.
Kidnap the mom.
We save mom.
Yeah, I like that.
I'd rather have that. And that's when she discovers that her little boy is alive.
Alive.
Okay, I want that more.
I like
I
that.
want that way better.
I like that.
And I think I really want, yeah, because his mom is dark elf. Father is just like an offspring human from this line, but his great great grandfather is, was this all powerful. I do want, and I know I don't know how it would work, but I just imagine he's gonna find the throne. They don't dare move him, and he's gonna find almost a mummified. It's been 15 years, just body, his his great great grandfather's body of him just sitting there, and since he's an elf, they have these great memories, but for some reason he loved that after so many years of almost thousands of years, hundreds of years, and seeing them turn into human, and finally like having a descendant be a mix of all three, he just loved him. He loved him so much. He was like very precious, and I want it to be like, oh, you're great. He wasn't killed by anything. He died when they learned that you had died. And that would be like oh.
That could be another boss fight.
The grandfather?
No. In that throne room though, and it could be.
I would have it probably be one of his like relatives, his cousin. They don't believe that it's him. They're like, can't believe that you've come back. Like you're just a spy. Like look at your skin. Like you're nothing. I don't know. I think
then during the fight, maybe at the end of the fight, you use both light and dark. He's like, oh crap, it is you.
Ooh.
And that's how the fight ends. You don't kill the cousin. You just prove that it's you, and he's like,
oh. I don't want him sitting on a throne. I want him it'll just be a tomb. I don't know. If I were to have that, I would want him reunited with his family, at least one of his parents. I would want to see his, I don't know, godly king, this relative. Like, could you imagine if like, oh, I have this relative who lived 2,000 years ago. He's still alive, but he knew me by name. He's like, you're so sweet. Like, I can't, like, look what my offspring has come. Like, here's like my youngest descendant. Look how precious he is. Like, you are going to be great. You're going to bridge our worlds. You're going to do so much. Like, he had so much hope for him and that little tiny guy. And he's like, you got this. You're going to be the bridge. You're going to be our diplomat. You can do this. All right. Before we end it, though, Tim, I want a name for him. I want a name for this character. If he truly is this half or this mix, if he's this beacon of hope, if he's this bridge between everything, we would need a good name for him. I don't know. That might be. I have to figure that one out because I got nothing.
Oh. Maybe you guys can help us out with that.
I would be shocked. Because few people do watch these episodes. We get like over 50 now. I know we're acting like, oh, it's a lot. Oh, well, I just got hit with the wall. I got hit with we've been talking for over an hour. Almost an hour and a half. That's like callback to, oh, he's done.
Sorry.
I don't think I got nothing left. I think, again, I really like this idea.
Yeah, me too.
I think just like all of our other ones, it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this episode.
I think it was a good 100th episode.
Yeah.
And for anyone watching for the first time, we hoped you liked it.
Yeah. And thanks for hanging out with us. If you stuck around through all of the ramblings and all of the story stuff, we appreciate it.
How did I get this over here? You're supposed to be over here. Oh. All right. Well, before I end this off, do you have anything you want to say, Tim?
Yeah. I mean, just my regular, if you guys don't know, I do a thing at the end of every episode. So thank you all for hanging out with us. We appreciate it's episode 100. Like, we've been doing this for 2.5 years. We didn't go into it expecting people to actually watch us. We were just doing this for fun. And now we actually have some people watching us and listening to our stories and giving us ideas and reaching out to us now. And it's crazy and it's overwhelming, and we thank you.
And I know you guys are probably like, oh, it's just so much. I mean, it's not that much. You guys don't have that many followers. You're right. But when you go from, I tell you thing to like, oh my gosh, we actually have like 50 plus people like actually paying attention. It's like
when you go from single digits to almost triple digits in just a matter of months.
Yeah. A couple of weeks.
It's wild. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for hanging out with us and for supporting us. And we've had a lot of fun doing this, and we hope to keep doing this forever.
100. So here's to 200. Here's to till we get to episode 200.
Mm-hmm.
We hopefully we'll get there faster this time.
I'll hope so.
Hope so.
But as always, thank you for watching. Love each other. Be kind, and remember that each one of you has a unique story to tell.
And with that, everybody, thank you so much, and we'll see you later, pitches. Bye.
Bye.